The fact that we're displaced, the fact that we lost our community, our core, was an injustice.
So I'm standing here under the Georgia Viaducts in East Vancouver, in between Pryor Street and Union Street. This neighborhood used to be known as Hogan's Alley. A lot of people know that East Vancouver and Strathcona was home to many immigrants, including the Japanese, Italians, and the Chinese, but many people don't know that from the 1920s to the late 1960s, this area was actually once a vibrant Black community. At one point, there was almost 800 Black residents. We're asking people if they know that this neighborhood was actually once called Hogan's Alley.
I did not know that.
No. No.
Did not know that. I'm not from here actually, but I never knew that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you know that this neighborhood was once called Hogan's Alley?
Yes,
We did.
So how did you know about it? A lot of people don't know.
we live here.
The Northeast Falls Creek plan is a 20-year plan, and they're going to build like waterfront property. There's going to be a lot of like affordable housing, and they're going to have like a community center here. So
And the Black community is going to be restored?
had it not been for this bridge, there might still be a thriving Black community in Vancouver.
In a course that I was taking last year, there was the history of urban planning in the city of Vancouver, and the professor didn't want to go over the history of Hogan's Alley because it was too much to get into, but rather than touching on it, he kind of just decided not to speak about it. I think it's kind of made my skin a lot thicker, and it's kind of driven my passion for wanting to be like involved in activism because of my Black identity, and to think about what my experience would be present day had I had sort of spaces where Black identity can exist in so many different ways would have been entirely different.
I mean, it was a gradual process. You know, in the early 20s, that's when the city rezoned it to industrial, just bringing it into blight. And again, very interesting that the concept of blight is usually defined by those outside of the community, because those that live there saw it very much just like their home and a place where, you know, you knew who your neighbors were.
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. So I came here when I was 15, and like I went straight into high school. I was wondering, where were all the Black people, you know, because I was so displaced and I was disconnected from my culture and my people and my language, that it was a struggle, and still is, to sort of find my feet in the city.
Most of us who are working at Hogan's Alley Society, we realized this would take time. And so we're doing it not for us, but for our children or the future generation. Just imagine the ability to create, build housing for people to live together, businesses to thrive, and ability to share our culture in one space.
For me, what has really defined my experience in Vancouver as a young Black woman has been erasure. My experience has been erased from my education, from textbooks, and I haven't really had a chance to really learn about my community and my identity.
I had this idea of like these two black women like eating blonde hair and sort of being pressured by society to conform to European standards of beauty. My process of assimilation was like relaxing or chemically processing my curly hair, my naturally curly hair. It didn't change anything. Like people didn't see me differently, or like I wasn't accepted as easily as I thought I would if I sort of looked like them.
I'm here on the corner of Union Street and Main Street, just across the Georgia Viaducts. This is the only sign that Hogan's Alley actually existed.
Like, I only recently learned about Hogan's Alley, you know, and I've been living here for 12 years now. So, yeah, to know that there was a black community and like there was a black church and like stores and like people lived and had families here, it's shocking to me because there is no, like, not many people know about it.
When our voices are not there, when we're not sitting around the table, of course our voices are not going to be heard. And so we need to push. Also understand that by omitting black history from our textbooks, we're doing a disservice to our children.
So this is the first time that the city of Vancouver has had extensive consultations with the black community in Vancouver. So this is setting a pretty high precedent. And the black community is really pushing for a community center.
I think it's not to say that this space is going to be built and there's suddenly going to be like all black people living on this block, because that's never been the intention. But I think the idea of having spaces for people who aren't necessarily welcome or feel welcome in like Vancouver in general, it's going to change the dynamic.
It's about time that we brought into the Canadian cultural mosaic, because we're not just takers, we're also givers.
Oh, yeah.
We give a lot, and
sure.
it's about time they appreciate what we give.
Having people who have lived through experiences, who can sit at the table and say how you build a space is going to exclude people or include people, it's changed already. So I think I'm kind of optimistic just to see how that manifests in the built environment.
We're looking to the future, and we hope that more people can join us in this journey, and it's exciting.
You know, I see little black girls running around Vancouver and I'm like, well, you know, I hope you have a better experience than I did. Okay, so Junot Diaz, the author, he has this saying, it goes like, I'm a child of blackness. Blackness was not meant to survive, but we have survived and we have thrived and we have given this world more genius than we have ever received.